This terrifying bridge collapse and two other individuals who, by a stroke of good fortune, missed the catastrophe by just minutes. Danny Freeman is out front live from Baltimore. Danny, what is the latest that you're learning about what is truly an unbelievable story of human survival?
Yeah, Brianna, the more that we're out here, the more that we learn about not only these stories of survival, but also, you mentioned it, those stories that are close calls as well. I mean, when you look at this bridge behind me, or what's left of this bridge behind me, you can imagine that enormous drop, those bitterly cold waters below, that violent collapse. And despite all of that, two people who were on that bridge survived. It's a miraculous story of survival. We're learning new details about the construction worker who fell more than 185 feet into the water and lived. Jeffrey Pritzker, the executive vice president of Bronner Builders, says the Mexican national who worked for the company likely survived by swimming before being rescued by first responders. The man was treated at the University of Maryland Medical Center's Shock Trauma Center, but was released hours after the collapse. Pritzker added the worker is, quote, very, very upset. He does have injuries, and I understand he's very stressed out and is suffering from stress. A fellow worker from Bronner Builders told CNN Thursday the team likely would have been on their break at the time of the impact. That worker saying he requested a last-minute shift change ahead of Tuesday, likely saving his life. However, less is known about the second survivor, who Pritzker said was not part of their construction team. At Wednesday night's press conference, Maryland's Governor, Wes Moore, said he's spoken with a survivor who narrowly escaped with his life.
One of the survivors who I had the opportunity to speak with, one of the things he mentioned to me was as he was moving off of the bridge and literally saw the bridge fall right after he moved off, it was because it was a first responder who was telling him to move off of the bridge.
CNN has requested more information about this survivor from the governor's office and the Maryland Transportation Authority. Reporters asked exactly how those on the bridge were notified to get off as the vessel crashed.
Well, I think we'll find out via investigation what exactly happened. I know that the one person I spoke with, he said it was audibly, that the officer was telling him to move off.
We're also hearing a story from a driver who was stopped from entering the bridge just in time.
In all honesty, if my passenger wasn't a little bit late coming out to the car and getting into it, we probably very well could have been on the bridge when it collapsed. We were that close.
This comes as we continue to learn more about those workers presumed and confirmed dead. 26-year-old Dorlian Castillo Cabrera's body was found in a submerged pickup truck below the wreckage Wednesday morning. He was an immigrant from Guatemala who loved his construction job. 35-year-old Alejandro Hernandez Fuentes, a Mexican national, was also found in the truck next to Castillo. Miguel Luna was a father of three, an immigrant from El Salvador who lived in Maryland for 19 years. And Maynor Yacir Suazo Sandoval was a Honduran national, a husband and father of two. Luna and Sandoval are presumed dead.
He was the breadwinner for his children right now. God is going to provide for us too, so we can get together as a family and see how we can help each other, because at this moment, his wife is left with his girl and everything.
Now, one other thing, Brianna, that I'll note that we're learning this evening from Mexican officials is that worker that we mentioned at the top of the piece who survived the collapse and was rescued, he's actually related to two other victims. So that means that 3 of the 8 people who were on that bridge when it collapsed earlier this week were all family members. 2 died, 1 survived. Brianna?
No wonder he is beside himself. Danny Freeman live for us in Baltimore. Thank you for that report.
In Baltimore, the largest crane on the eastern seaboard has now arrived at the collapsed Francis Scott Key Bridge. Its mission is to try to remove the twisted, heavy debris, clear the channel, and reopen the port of Baltimore. CNN's Gabe Cohen is still on the scene for us. Gabe, what's the latest?